Good morning, everybody. It's Dave. Was going to do a quick video about talking about weed control. I guess that's pest management. I consider weeds pests. And I had it going with the flamer. However, the video didn't work right. The sound was off and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to just do it again here really quick, sitting down. So my name is Dave. If you are new to the channel, if you're not new to the channel, my name's still Dave. I'm sitting in my greenhouse right now because it's a cloudy, off and on rainy day. I have been out flaming some weeds, as I said, and I wanted to talk about weeds and just getting rid of them with non-chemical means. So the property that we live on, I bought, my wife and I, bought about 14 or 15 years ago. And I had a small garden at that time, much smaller than it is now. But I made the decision not to use any chemicals. We don't put any herbicides. We don't put any pesticides. We don't even put stuff on the lawn. Like, I don't know why why do people come around and have them fertilize your lawn? Grass will literally grow up through the cracks in a sidewalk, and people are out there fertilizing their yards. That makes no sense to me. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But we're talking about weeds, and so when you go chemical free, of course, you have to find different ways to get rid of the weeds. Now, one of the obviously more traditional ways is hand pulling, and of course, there's always a place for hand pulling, especially once you've got your garden planted, and obviously you can't get in there either with a pointed hoe or with something to break up the weeds, or the flamer that I just showed you. You can't do that around plants or around crop or fruit and vegetable plants. The flamer is really more for beds before they've been planted. I usually do them first thing early in the spring when everything emerges, and then I'll come back and hit them again either once or twice. I've had a knee replacement in the last 9 months. I've found that it's a little bit easier on me than going and hoeing, although I do still do some hoeing to break up weeds. We have a lot of Bermuda grass, and they're really just, you can't get rid of it with those long, if you're not familiar with it, it's got real long runners, or I think it's called a stolon also. It's like an underground root, and all along that root are nodes, and this Bermuda grass pops up everywhere. And so flaming it beforehand really helps knock it down, but I'm never going to get rid of it. It's just simply, it is here. But I don't want to use chemicals on it. So that's one of the first ways, pulling weeds or flaming weeds, or turning them over with a hoe, that you can obviously get rid of them without using chemicals. Now the next thing is to help with pests, and this is more of a creature pest than a weed, is squash. I'll use squash bugs as an example because it's the primary one that I do this with. Squash bugs they tear me up where I'm at here. You can't plant pumpkin or yellow squash, anything in that squash family that the squash bugs will jump on. They will jump on it instantly. And I struggled with applying BT. I actually, when I first started in my at my property, I released a bag of praying mantis eggs, and to this day, 15, 16 years later, I still see plenty of praying mantis. Now I know that praying mantis aren't ideal because they kill all bugs. They kill the beneficial ones as well as the hurtful or pests. But I do find that where I'm at, them cleaning up does a better job with my garden. And yes, I know that some beneficial bugs are sacrificed to them. I'm quite certain. But the next thing I was talking about was the squash plants. I struggled with everything, even applying BT, hand picking the eggs off, pulling the leaves off, burning them, not making sure they didn't get back in the compost pile, all that kind of stuff. And an old timer from around here told me, "Well, you're planting your squash too soon." And I had never heard this. My mentality has always been plant everything as soon as possible to get as much yield out. But what he told me is that the the eggs for squash bugs hatch in mid-May, maybe mid to late May, when the soil warms. They turn into a white, I believe, a moth. This is what I was told. If I'm wrong, by all means, please correct me in the comments. Try to keep it polite. But it turns into, I believe it's a white moth. That moth goes around, looks for more squash plants, and when they find them, they lay eggs on them, and then the plant dies, goes into the ground, the eggs go into the ground, and the cycle repeats. So what he said was, don't plant your squash for my area, before June 15th. He said when the soil has warmed up, that the bugs come out. There's no squash planted, so they either leave or they die because there's nothing for them to feed on. They don't feed on other plant types, and it won't feed on your tomatoes or your strawberries or whatever. So that's what we do, and we've had much better success, far fewer plants lost to squash bugs by doing that, planting them later. Yellow squash, even pumpkins, and winter, and what's the other one? The green one, the big, the one that you make bread out of, zucchini. Any of those that can be killed by squash bugs, they're fast growing. They're going to turn out. They're going to turn out plenty of plant. They're going to turn out plenty of produce for you, even planting them that late. When you're in a zone, I'm in zone 7A, or 7B. So if you're in that type of a zone, you have enough time. If you're in a northern zone, I'm guessing much north of me, I'm guessing you probably don't really have to worry too much about squash bugs. So that could be, I may be wrong on that. Let me know. The third thing is planting excess. So it's just my wife and I. My daughter is come back from college. She has been with us for a time, but that's not going to be forever. And so it is just my wife and I. And what I found, the other thing I found, is I simply plant more. If I decide to plant a crop, I'm going to plant whatever, this tomato, that tomato. I plant far more than what my wife and I can eat. I overdo it purposely. And the reason I do that is so now if I've lost some to bugs, I've lost some to weeds, birds, whatever else, deer are brutal. You got to block them out because they'll mow down everything. Same with rabbits. But by planting extra, then okay, yeah, we lost some to whatever, but we've still got plenty for us. Those are three things I use. One thing I'm going to look into, especially for along fence lines and as well as in the driveway, apparently there is a mixture you can use that is vinegar, salt, and it's something else. I can't remember. That's why I got to look it up. But maybe you can look it up too. And put it in a sprayer, and you're going to spray that along fence lines or along places where weeds grow, where it's difficult to cut and get to them, and so that they're not growing up, going to seed, and then causing issues somewhere else on your property. Now, obviously, you can't put a spray with salt in it in your garden. You're going to kill it. So this is really, that would be restricted for places that you're not going to be growing plants, nor do you want plants to grow. All around your wood pile, in your sidewalk or whatever. So those are some tips. That's what I've got. We got some things going on here. I'm going to reach back here. Yep, these are my, I'm planting hollyhocks this year. Hollyhocks are a biennial. They are, they will not flower the first year. So you gotta, if you're not patient, they might not be the flower for you. You gotta wait for a year. They'll flower every other year. Where I'm going to plant them next year, I'll plant another batch so that they're biennial. They flower every other year. If I plant them on alternate years, then I'll always be having flowers. Over here, we've got our sweet potato slips. These are all the sweet potatoes. I've shown you the tote that I grow sweet potatoes in. It's still got some growing in it. I may just throw them in the compost pile, or I don't know. I've got probably 40 sweet potato slips in here, a combination of Beauregard and Georgia Jet, and it's going to be so many sweet potatoes for my wife and I to eat. But other than that, not much going on. We're putting out, right now it's early May, we're putting out plants. It's been a little bit warmer than usual. Usually I wait till Mother's Day to plant out, but the extended forecast shows no sign of being in anything less than the 60s. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing something to stay safe, I screwed that up. I hope you're doing something to stay more independent. And on that note, stay safe, stay prepared, have a good day. Like, share, and subscribe, please, if you like what you're doing. If you like what we're doing here. I'll talk to you on the next video. Thank you very much. Have a good one.